felt like at my very most seen, I'm the very least heard.
Being seen, extremely seen, yet almost unheard, completely unheard. It's a reality that I believe a decent amount of people face in everyday life in certain ways, such as in the job, at school, some other just social circumstances. However, amplify that to being a model, where your job is for people to take pictures of you, to take videos, for you to walk down runways. A job where your job is based completely around your physical appearance. And so you're not doing much talking, right? You do interviews, but the majority of it is just, a still image, which is your picture, or just you walking. It's a very fascinating paradox to be so seen, so highlighted, yet so unheard. Like internally, you're just, internally maybe you feel empty, or you don't feel empty, but just nobody hears you, or they don't want to hear you. It's a very fascinating paradox there.
Through my childhood being extremely seen, but absolutely unheard. It's been sort of the bane of my existence. Why I had to hold my teddy bear and pretend like I was crying. It's like, the only way to get rid of them is by obliging.
That's irony right there. Paulina, being a child, saying she was told to hold her teddy bear, to take photos for, the news and for publications, for the problems that were these major problems that were going on in certain parts of Europe during that time. I don't know the history part of that too much, so I can't speak on that aspect of it too much. However, as far as her saying it was the only way to make them leave was to take pictures, the irony is that, and she then goes on to become a model and take more pictures and to not speak, and not because she doesn't want to speak. She does speak, as you see in these interviews, and she's very intelligent, but people around her, some people, especially the top executives in these modeling and entertainment industries, not wanting her to speak because she is so aware of the industry and her role in it, and how the modeling industry and entertainment industry keeps the vices to it, and the side to it that one doesn't see through a still image.
Shut up, be on the set, and do your job. Rent your body out as a blank canvas, and then you get poked and prodded and pushed around and shoved.
The modeling and entertainment industries, as we are clearly seeing, especially in 2026, are some of the most prolific places for the mistreatment of really anybody that is below the people at the top, right? Especially women, though it does happen to men as well, of course. And it is It is really, it's not surprising that I want to read Paulina's book. I believe it's called No Filter. I know that when she was in her book, I think she writes about how when she was young, I don't know exactly what age, she was assaulted on set. And I unfortunately am not surprised by this. It's a very reoccurring theme in the modeling industry and in the entertainment industry, unfortunately, because it's such the power dynamics are very unbalanced, and it's an industry where you can make so much money, right? It's such a... I want to do a separate video, most likely, about the entertainment and modeling industry as a whole. But it's definitely, you know, Paulina saying that models are pushed and shoved around and poked and prodded on set is reoccurring, unfortunately, because, you know, some men believe that, and women sometimes too, usually it's men though, believe that they can do whatever they want with these women, these attractive women, because, you know, especially the men at the top, because it's like, oh, well, if I give her enough money, you know, I'm giving, it's like, it's such a, the dynamics are so incredibly off. It's like, oh, if I give you enough money, if I give you enough fame, right? Like, I gave you money, I gave you fame. So now I can treat you however I'd like to, because if you speak out about it, or if you don't follow the rules, then you will be casted out, or even worse, right? As we have seen, you know, so you won't have a career, you won't make money, you won't be famous, or you will be taken out. So it is it's a horrible situation. And that's an understatement, right? I don't believe words alone can express some of the atrocities that happen that, you know, like people like myself aren't even aware of. I don't watch the news that much, but I am aware enough of, you know, some of it, but I still don't even know all of the atrocities that happen in the entertainment or modeling industry. But it's it's a cycle, you know, like now with the modeling and entertainment industry, I feel as though, even though I'm not on social media that much, as I said, I don't watch the news that much, I don't know too much about pop culture, actually, ironically enough. However, I know enough where the entertainment industry and the modeling industry will fit whatever narrative the general public is believing at that time, because the general public are their consumers. So if their consumers are believing, oh, diversity and inclusion, that's what we need, that's what we love, then the entertainment and modeling industries generally will follow suit. And so what's happening, I feel like now, is that, and it's been happening, it's always been happening, but right now, I think what's something that's popular is diversity and inclusion and being ironically heard, quote unquote, ironically. And I do believe that sometimes it is genuine in the modeling and entertainment industry. Sometimes I believe it is. From some people, certain aspects, yes, I do. But I'm very wary to it. In some ways, depending on who it comes from, where it comes from, I do get suspicious because at the end of it all, the entertainment and modeling industry, the modeling industry is there to sell shows, to sell advertisements, to sell products, to sell girls. Really, to sell girls, right, on stills. And the entertainment industry is there to make money off of entertainment. And and so whatever, is entertaining, and then behind the scenes, right, the people at the top will find their own entertainment. And unfortunately, that entertainment, even if you're not at the top, some people's entertainment is abusing those that are not in a position to do much about it, unfortunately. And that's the really crazy and horrific part about it. It's like, what you see in the media is something, but then sometimes what's happening behind the camera is, like I said, somebody is getting entertainment from mistreating and abusing somebody because they feel they can. It's a very, and like I said, the cycle keeps going because I believe people aren't held accountable. And even if they are, some people are held accountable, I still believe the cycle still goes on behind the scenes, even if it's rebranded. And I say rebranded because, I'm not against, for example, diversity and inclusion in modeling and in the entertainment industry. I'm not against those. It's just like, with Instagram, or Instaham. I prefer to call it Instaham. Sometimes I use it interchangeably, but I prefer Instaham. With that app, there's now, I saw an advertisement, there's teen safety accounts, and there's features on there that they didn't used to have that's supposed to be to have Instaham feel more welcoming and inclusive, and it's not all about your popularity, because now you can share your how many likes you get, which I believe I went over in my social media video, and that's nice. Like, it's aesthetically pleasing, I guess, and however, Instaham is still Instaham, and it's still a business, so it's still going to have its core aspects to it, some of the core aspects, and it's still going to want profits, and it's going to be what I call a PP situation, profits over people. And so, because if Instaham was really concerned about the general public, just like these modeling and entertainment industries, I just find it hard to believe that how do I explain? I find it hard to believe that Instaham would still operate the way it does, such as with the advertisements, and still operate as far. Maybe I just believe Instaham would be more forthcoming and just be like, yeah, we are purposely trying to get people addicted. Or, entertainment modeling industries, I feel if they were genuinely more about the people, for the people, then there shouldn't be, it shouldn't be a system or dynamic where so much abuse and mistreatment can happen. And of course, the abuse and mistreatment happens outside of the entertainment and modeling industries. It happens in workplaces, unfortunately, in general, I'm sure. And, because that's just how the system sets up. You have a manager, you have a CEO, you have the people below, and so on and so forth, right? It's like that sort of, those layers. Though I feel, that with the entertainment and modeling industry, it shapes, it aids, and it wants to shape sometimes, young people's minds, kids, especially girls. And because it literally, you know, sometimes these you have models who are teenagers or people in the entertainment industry who are kids, hence what, you know, children being singers or actresses. And once again, it's not, I don't believe that having a kid act or sing or dance is inherently wrong, but with the way the entertainment and modeling industry is now, where it's so, unfortunately, in some ways, it's so easy to take advantage of the child or take advantage of that teenager. That's where the problem lies. And so, yeah, it's a problem that is rationalized sometimes by the industry and justified by, once again, oh, well, I gave you fame and money, right? Like, that's going to fix everything. I gave you fame, I gave you money, and justified in the lifestyle that the industry believes people should aspire to, which is a life of materialism, I believe, in attention. Who has the most attention? Who has the most wealth? And I don't subscribe to this lifestyle. And so, I think I said everything I wanted to for this segment.
Friends, they will say things like, oh, you look beautiful, but then I shouldn't say that because you hear that all the time. Yes, I do hear that all the time, but what I also hear all the time behind my back is, she's gotten a little heavier, hasn't she? Yeah, she has. Yeah, well, no, she shouldn't be in that miniskirt. Doesn't look good on her. Can we do something about that dot on her nose? Yeah. Well, no, let's leave that sexy dress for Elle because she's just not filling it up enough, you know?
It really must be up and down emotionally, especially someone who is very introspective and aware, such as Paulina, in the modeling industry, being told that you're so attractive, you're so beautiful, your looks are phenomenal, and then on the other side of that, also being told, oh, it looks like you gained weight, it looks like you have this on your face that you didn't have before, you have this and that, and oh, this doesn't look good on you. It's very contrasting opinions you're told probably every day. And that's why I say it's so, important for people to be secure within themselves, which is much easier said than done. And when I say secure, I'm not saying people should be arrogant. I am saying that people should be secure enough with themselves to, when it comes specifically to your physical appearance. So what people say about you, whether it's good, like whether it's like, oh, you're so attractive, or oh, you're very ugly, like it doesn't affect you that much either way. And that you're what you believe your worth or your physical appearance is, it comes from within you, not from people around you or people distant from you, right? Because if it comes from within you, then it's just a lot more fulfilling and secure than if it comes from other people, because other people are always going to have differing opinions, which is fine. But if you're always getting, or for the most part, you're getting your validation from others on your physical appearance, it's never going to be enough.
Go to work and I'd sit there and wait for all the clients to come in, and they would walk in and they'd look at me and go, who are you, the makeup girl's assistant or something? Why? And I'd sit there and I'd go, well,
I'm the model, really.
Why would they do that, do you think?
Well, because models have a tendency not to look the same with or without makeup.
It's
Damn, not the are you the assistant? Because Paulina wasn't wearing makeup. How interesting. I am not against wearing makeup. I wear makeup sometimes. I believe people should wear makeup for the right reasons. And by right reasons, I mean that they should do it for them, not to please other people or to try to attract people to them, because once, like, you're going to take the makeup off one day. Somebody one day, especially, you know, if it's like you're trying to date somebody, they're going to see you one day without the makeup. Therefore, the makeup should be worn for yourself, and because it does, you know, depending on how much makeup you use, it can really alter the way somebody looks. So that's why I believe it should be used wisely. And by wisely, I just mean you should really think about, you know, why you're wearing it, for what purpose. Of course, models have to wear it. I mean, of course. But that, and once again, that's another aspect to modeling that is fake, you know, because the models, and without makeup on, there's, you know, you don't have to be like, a woman does not need to wear makeup to be attractive. But with the modeling industry, you know, women are plastered with makeup, and then lighting and angles, which all make it, the combination of all of these factors make it look like the perfect picture, or she's like, stunning, right? And I'm sure she's attractive, and this happens with men too, but I'm sure she's attractive, yet it's just being sold, right? It's being sold, and some to young girls who believe that, you know, that is real, when in fact, to look this way, to look like a model, it's not real. Or at least if it is real, it's it's at what cost, right? At what cost? So yeah, it's makeup is, once again, I use it. I want to, but I always, you know, check in with myself. Okay, why am I using it, right? Because I'm not against it. I just want to make sure I'm using it for myself.
You still feel that way about modeling?
Well, look, being a model, you gotta face it, you're not in brain surgery or cancer research. You live on the way you look, and which is mostly thanks to your parents or God or a plastic surgeon. Yeah. So, you know, it doesn't really have anything to do with you. Mm-hmm. It's got kind of, you know, I think I said everything I wanted to.
Do you find that models tend to be vain and shallow and superficial and...
Absolutely.
Oh, really? No, but you don't include yourself in that category.
Well, of course not. I don't think of myself as a model.
Oh, really? What do you think of yourself as?
Human being, Dave.
Well, see that...
You see, you can't really project a brain on a picture, because a picture is it's a one-dimensional thing. Mm-hmm. And people may allude themselves to the fact that they see something behind those eyes, but really it makes no difference if you're dumb or intelligent, as you know, when you do modeling. I think that's one of the reasons why so many people tend to label models as stupid. Well,
it does make sense that some models are vain, because you get paid to, based on your physical appearance, which is something that is mainly from genetics or a plastic surgeon, as Paulina said, a top skincare, top dermatologist. Therefore, it can, especially in the age of social media, create a vanity, like, oh, you know, like, look at me, everybody should look at me, and it's really, It's really fascinating because social media has made it so everybody can have a platform, which I don't believe in is inherently bad at all. I believe it can be definitely used for good, and I do believe it is good for everybody to be able to have a platform. However, when it comes to specifically like modeling and physical appearances, it does create a vanity in some people. And also, Paulina talks about how modeling is one-dimensional, and especially when she was modeling when she started, it was one-dimensional because it was on magazine covers and it was mainly photos, right? So it's like people sometimes they think, oh, well, I see a picture of somebody, I can see it, something in their eyes, I see it in them. Though at the end of it, it's really just a picture. You can't tell somebody's character or personality just by looking at a picture of them. So even though sometimes, of course, pictures can be powerful, I believe, but, you know, it's still just a still representation of something, and it doesn't tell everything. It doesn't move, it doesn't speak, which makes a difference. And one of the other aspects she talks about is how some people view, or a decent amount of people view models as stupid, right? Just because you get paid on your looks. And while some models are stupid, I'm sure, it's not fair to say that every model is stupid by any means, because it's a hasty generalization.
Then they're just narcissistic and vain, and that's about the most boring thing I could think of, you know, male or female. Right. It always seems, I'm always more attracted to people that seem unaware of their looks or that don't really care.
Especially in the age of major social media platforms, I can understand Paulina's perspective, and I agree with it about being more attracted or being attracted to people who are unaware, who don't care about their looks. Because especially, you know, in modeling, that's what it is, right? What I've been talking about this whole time. But also in the age of social media, such as Instagram, some people are so into themselves, or think others are so into them. Some people are, but not everybody. And it is so much more fulfilling to be with somebody for their mind and their spirit than for their looks, because the looks aren't what would attract me to somebody, is not what attracts me to somebody. Of course, I look as people do naturally. You look at how somebody looks physically, though, to have conversations with them, to know each other's mind, that's where it really lies in life for me.
And suddenly, he seemed not to find me attractive anymore. I started feeling like I was a coffee table, something you put shit on and bump into in the middle of the night, but pay no more attention to than that. You know, other things about me that I thought were valuable.
Like what?
Pretty much everything else but my looks, honestly. I had thought I was boring for 30 years because my husband made me feel boring, because whenever I would speak, he would just yawn and look around and completely dismiss me. I sort of went with that for a while till I could no longer take it. I started changing the rules on what our marriage was supposed to be. And then he started changing his rules too. Oh, well, if you're gonna be demanding and a bitch, well, then I'm not gonna touch you.
It's a very unfortunate state of affairs how some people will only view you as somebody who's physically attractive and nothing more, especially when you have a mind such as Paulina's, who's so fascinating and who has so many interesting and introspective thoughts. It's very sad that Rick only saw her for her looks. But I love that Paulina still, despite that, didn't make herself less intelligent or change herself, at least not in the long term, because there's so many other, like some other people out there who would find her mind to be what's amazing, you know, about her, and not just about her, but other people in similar situations, because the mind, as I explained earlier, is where it lies for me.
He just looked at me really coldly and said, well, seems like your mind's made up, so whatever. And that was it. I really, really couldn't believe it. That was it. That was all the fight he was going to put up for me.
How did you respond?
Like this. Started bawling, ran off. It didn't feel like there was anything else I could do. It was two men, the only two men I had been with in 37 years, that both thought that I was not worthy to stay for. So that's something that I still battle with. Am I worthy of love? It seems not.
Another irony to the modeling industry and human nature in general, that Paulina is asking, am I even worthy of love? You know, living a life where so many people are looking at you constantly and telling you how attractive you are, and I'm sure thinking how many men she can get, yet the two men she was with during her life left, and she felt like perhaps she's not worthy of love, which is it's very sad hearing, because when you hear Paulina's interviews, I think most people would be like, she's a very intelligent person and well-spoken person, and it's unfortunate that the men she was with didn't see that or did not want to see that. They just, as I said earlier, wanted to be with her for her physical appearance, just her outer layer, not her inner layer.
Not that many guys that are smart enough and brave enough to date women their age. We have so many more demands because we know who we are. So I'm trying to cobble together, assemble a new me who won't give a fuck.
And to not give a fuck, that's where it is also at. Because in life, especially being a young adult, I am sort of slowly learning, relearning, and I'm learning a lot. I as I said before, I always want to be learning, but you know, once again, it goes back to being secure enough with yourself, which I'm not fully secure with myself. However, I'm trying to be more secure with myself, you know, every day, I guess, or, you know, just trying to figure out, okay, what can I work on to get that? So other people's opinions or thoughts on me don't consume me, and I allow that to define who I am, you know, whether it's my physical appearance or my mental, you know. So that is, and as far as men not dating their age, that also I think a lot of it has to do with the physical appearance. I know that, you know, men sometimes want somebody who's 20 years young, a woman who's 20 years younger than them for the physical attraction, though. Aside from that, I also believe it's the experience. Just being younger, it's generally easier to take advantage of that woman. So, and that's why Paulina's saying, you know, some men are just not smart or brave enough to actually date a woman their age because, women their age, they can't as easily usually take advantage of them. And they are, they have more experience so in life, and that can match the guy's experience, if not more. So it's very, very fascinating.
My needs have never been acknowledged, really.
Probably even by yourself, right?
Most of all by myself. Yeah. Shit. And I don't know how to have needs and not scare people off.
Very, very relatable. How to have needs and not to scare people off. This is something that I have thought about a lot, even if it wasn't in these exact terms. Before even seeing this interview, something that, I am trying to find the balance in my relationships of having needs and not scaring people off. However, I think that it's not about scaring people off. I think it's about having a balance and also just the right people for you at that time. So what I mean by this is having people who will be patient with you and, of course, to an extent, but be patient and understand that because of that you have certain needs, they have certain needs, and that through conversation and genuine conversation and trust and really understanding each other, then hopefully both people's needs can be met. And if they're not met, perhaps there's somebody else who can fulfill those needs. And sometimes it's not about taking away from that person who cannot fulfill your needs. Sometimes I think it's just, different people. We're all individuals. So some people can fill certain roles in your life and others cannot. And sometimes it's not about this person is better or worse. It's just different people. So to me, I try not to say, are my needs going to scare people? It's more like I just want to be able to share if I feel like I have a relationship with somebody where I can share something visceral or a need that I feel I need, then I can just share it with them, and however they react, that's revealing. They're revealing who they are to me in whichever way they handle what I'm telling them.
Being able to express how I feel to me is one of the most wonderful things about my face. I'm like, isn't that why it was made? So broken. And I'm assembling myself. So it's not the greatest place to be yet. It will be, though. It'll be pretty freaking awesome.
In the first clip, Paulina's talking about how she was speaking with a photographer, and the photographer was getting upset at her, getting visibly upset because she was making expressive facial expressions, and the photographer wasn't used to seeing a model making these facial expressions, I suppose, because of the lines it creates on their face, certain lines or something along that. And she's explaining how being able to make these facial expressions is what makes people human. And it's true. It's such an oxymoronic situation where you're a model and you get paid, and by being seen, you get paid to do photograph shoots, photography shoots, and get paid just to have people look at you and put you in different outfits, etc. And yet those same people, some of them, get upset or are confused when you are making, first of all, when you're aging and you're aging naturally, they're probably confused or taken back to see somebody age naturally in the modeling world, but then also to see somebody make, especially when they're aging, to make facial expressions that aren't typical for models. And it's a very oxymoronic situation. You get seen, but then, oh well, some people don't want to see you in a certain way because, oh, it shows that you have certain lines on your face, or it shows that you're being very expressive with your face. But that's, as Paulina said, what makes people human. And it really is, because facial expressions and body language is what is another element of human communication. So when the modeling industry tries to take that away or hide it, it's very telling to those who hide it or try to. It's very telling to their minds, like what their reality is. And the second clip is Paulina talking about how she is trying to assemble herself, how she is assembling herself from decades of being in the modeling industry and being in that world. And I'm sure it does take assembling, right? When you are as inquisitive and as aware as Paulina that you're doing a job that you just get paid off your looks, and then to go through those two relationships she did in her life and have them end in the way they did, it takes it. For most people, it would take assembling and figuring yourself out more and learning more about yourself, really. But I really enjoy listening to her interviews, and I haven't seen them all, but I really enjoy listening to the ones I have and just learning more about her. And she's so articulate in her thoughts and just, very concise. It's very, I learn a lot from, I guess I could say more just about humans, and I learned a little bit about the modeling industry, but more about, humans and their minds. It's very fascinating. So, as I said earlier in my video, I didn't say it, this time I typed it. If you do like this video, it would be appreciated if you did share it with somebody or gave it a like, or, anything to help this video out. That would be great. And I have one more clip for the video, or a few more clips, and then that will be the end of this YouTube video, and on to the next.
Don't like to be involved in real business-like things. To me, it's like exercise. It's good for you, but man, is it boring.